let me tell you, ancient Israel is not Ireland. Not 5th century Ireland, not 13th century Ireland, not 21st century Ireland. Ancient Israel is not Ireland. And legend has it that in Ireland, there's a tradition that goes back all the way to the 5th century, to St. Bridget and St. Patrick. And this tradition is that a woman can propose marriage to a man on February 29th. So once every 4 years. Legend also has it that Queen Margaret of Scotland, this is a little dubious, but in 1288, there's question about it. 1288, she created a law that allowed this. And then there was a 2010 movie called Leap Year, which Time magazine praised as the worst movie of the year of 2010. But this was all about Amy Adams' character, her attempt to propose to her then boyfriend in Ireland on Leap Day, February 29th of whatever year they said it took place. There's that tradition, a woman proposing to a man. And that is actually exactly what we have happening here in Ruth chapter 3 today. A woman proposing to a man, but it wasn't Ireland on February 29th. It wasn't the year 2020 or 2011 or 1288 or the 5th century. No, it was 3,000 years ago in a very patriarchal society. And she was a Moabite. And she didn't really know the guy that well. It was risky. And depending on how you look at it, it was also risque. Here's what happened. Ruth chapter 3, the first 13 verses. One day, Ruth's mother-in-law Naomi said to her, "My daughter, I must find a home for you where you will be well provided for. Now, Boaz, with whose women you have worked, is a relative of ours. Tonight he will be winnowing barley on the threshing floor. Wash, put on perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor, but don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, note the place where he is lying. Then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do." "I will do whatever you say," Ruth answered. So she went down to the threshing floor and did everything her mother-in-law told her to do. When Boaz had finished eating and drinking and was in good spirits, he went over to lie down at the far end of the grain pile. Ruth approached quietly, uncovered his feet, and lay down. In the middle of the night, something startled the man. He turned, and there was a woman lying at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked, because it was dark. "I am your servant Ruth," she said. "Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian redeemer of our family." Now, I'm not going to go into all the history of what that means, but just know that her uncovering his feet and then asking him to cover her with the garment, that meant she was asking him to marry her. There was nothing promiscuous about it, but that's what she was asking. That's what happened. Let's continue. Verse 10. "The Lord bless you, my daughter," he replied. "This kindness is greater than that which you showed earlier. You have not run after the younger men, whether rich or poor. And now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do for you all you ask. All the people of my town know that you are a woman of noble character. Although it is true that I am a guardian redeemer of our family, there is another who is more closely related than I. Stay here for the night, and in the morning, if he wants to do his duty as your guardian redeemer, good, let him redeem you. But if he is not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. Lie here until morning." This is God's word. Now, as I said, this whole proposal business was risky, and Naomi knew it. There was a risk that Boaz would not react how he did. There was the risk that Boaz would see this woman lying at his feet and call her a loose woman, call her a prostitute, and throw her out and ruin her reputation. Or there was another risk that Boaz would act promiscuously. He had eaten and drank and was in good spirits. He would act promiscuously and take advantage of Ruth without any thought of marriage at all. It was risky. And also, depending on how you look at it, it was risque. Like, check out these details. She didn't say to Ruth, Ruth, go up to Boaz at lunchtime. In the middle of the day when you're sweaty, you've both been working throughout the day, and then, ask him to marry you. No, she said this. She said, wash, put on perfume and get dressed in your best clothes. In other words, try to catch his eye, Ruth, and, catch his nose too. Make him take notice of you. And wait until he's eaten and drank and he's in good spirits, and then go up to him. Wait until he's all alone in the middle of the night, and go and lay down by him. A man, a woman, alone, in the middle of the night. It was a risk. Maybe risque, you could say that. It was a risk for Naomi to do this. But get this, it was also a risk if she didn't do something like this. What did she risk? Inaction. She risked that she and Ruth would both be unmarried widows for the rest of their lives. And the family land of Elimelech, of Mahlon, the land, when they died, there would be no heirs, and so it wouldn't pass down. The land would just go to whoever bought it, and the family name of Elimelech and Mahlon, it would disappear forever. There was that risk, and as I said, the risk that they would just be unmarried widows for the rest of their lives, just the two of them together. There was a risk of action. There was also the risk of inaction. And this is how risk works in every part of life. There's a risk in everything, in acting, but also always a risk in inaction. Think of it. When you ask out that guy, you're taking a risk. He might say no. It might not work out. But if you don't ask him out, you're also taking a risk of missing out on what could be a great relationship, maybe a lifelong one. There's a risk either way. When you apply for that job, you're taking a risk. What if you get turned down? What if you don't get it? But if you don't apply, if you don't interview, you're also taking a risk. What if you could have had that job and you're missing out on it? When you order a steak medium rare, you risk, I think, that there's some sort of bacteria in there, it didn't get cooked all the way through, so you risk getting sick. But on the other hand, if you order a steak well done, you're risking it not tasting good at all because it's a well done steak. There's a risk either way, in action and in inaction, and this goes for every single part of life. All of life is, in a sense, a risk. And here's the spiritual truth here. Every action or inaction is an action based on faith. You're having faith in something. Every moment, every action, every thought, it's based on you having faith in some way. And this is everyone, Christian or not. The famous author David Foster Wallace, and as far as I know, he died an atheist. He said this in a famous commencement speech. He said, "Everyone worships something. The only choice we get is what to worship." In other words, you have a choice of what to put your faith in. And every action, every thought, every risk, it all flows from some kind of faith. Faith in something. Let's imagine you had $1,000. You take that $1,000, you put it in Tesla stock. It's because you have faith that that Tesla stock is going to go up. Or maybe you take it and you put it in some mutual funds. It's because you have faith that those mutual funds are going to gain in value. Or maybe you take your $1,000 and you put it in coffee cans and you bury it in your backyard or put it in your closet. It's because you have faith that those coffee cans are the very safest place for your $1,000. And we could go into countless other examples, but every action in life or inaction or risk flows from you putting your faith in something. So, if you or I, if we never ask in what you generally consider to be a risky way, or if you're spiritually paralyzed by inaction, you can't do something because you're worried, you can't do anything because you're worried about how it's going to turn out. If you're afraid of anything, it is because you and I lack faith in the Lord, and we're putting our faith in something else. Every thought, every action flows from some sort of faith. I do this. You do it too. We're spiritually paralyzed because we don't have strong enough faith in the Lord, or we put our faith in something else. I'm not putting you down. This is just the way it is. We think, and maybe it's not even consciously, but it's there. We think that somehow the Lord doesn't care, or he doesn't love us, or he's not powerful enough, or he lacks the wisdom, or he's not going to be there in whatever the situation is. And so instead of acting in faith, we don't. We hang back. We don't take a risk because we haven't put our faith in the Lord as we should. We lack faith in the Lord and his love, or his power, or his wisdom, or all three. That's the truth. So what about Naomi? How in the world could she make such a risky plan and then tell Ruth to carry it out? Well, it's because she had faith. First of all, she had faith in Ruth and Ruth's character and reputation. She had faith that Boaz would know that once he found out it was Ruth, that this was an honorable woman, that she was above reproach. And Naomi also had faith in Boaz's character, that no matter what, he wouldn't mistreat Ruth in a promiscuous way. He wouldn't ruin her reputation. At the very least, maybe Boaz would say, no. Naomi had faith in the character of Ruth and Boaz. Now, 2 weeks ago, I told you that Ruth was an ultrasound of Jesus, a little picture of the beauty of Jesus. Ruth was an ultrasound when she said to Naomi, her mother-in-law, I will never leave you, I will never forsake you, I will commit my entire life to you, not even death will separate us. Your people are my people, your God is my God. That was an ultrasound of Jesus, the beautiful, real thing who says that to us, that he will never leave us or forsake us. Ruth's an ultrasound. Today, I get to tell you that Boaz is too. Because look what he did. He knew that this was a marriage proposal. He knew exactly what Ruth was asking, and look what he said. He said, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I will do for you all you ask. Boaz, this man, he chose to love, chose to marry, chose to make his bride someone who didn't deserve it, who had nothing to offer him. He didn't even know her that well. And yet he committed himself to love her and care for her always. Even though she didn't have anything for him. And that's exactly what Jesus did for us. The Bible talks about Jesus being the groom and every person, regardless of gender, being his bride. He came to us and chose to love us, chose to make us his spouse, in a sense, even though we had nothing at all to offer him. Naomi had faith in the character of Ruth and Boaz, and that's why she could act. But how could Boaz do this wonderful thing and act as an ultrasound of the Jesus 1,000 years in the future? How could he take this risk? This woman from Moab, and she was a lot younger, and they hadn't been on many dates. How could he take the risk? Did you see what he said? Right at the end of his promise, he said, as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. As surely as the Lord lives. That's what did it for him. That's what gave him the confidence to take the risk. He knew that the Lord lived. It's like exactly what gave Joshua the confidence to lead the people into Canaan. The Lord said, do not be afraid. I will be with you. And let me tell you, a person who is dead cannot be with you. But the Lord is alive, and he was alive, and he was with Boaz, and Boaz had faith in this fact, and that's what allowed Boaz to take the risk and love and marry Ruth. He knew that whatever the risks, the Lord was with him, and he wanted to do this out of love because he knew the Lord was alive. So, are you going to take the risk? Are you going to take the job? Are you going to make the move? I'm not telling you that you should do it or that you should not do it, but I'm saying that whatever you do, do it with confidence because the Lord lives. And because he lives, he is with you. It's the same promise he gave Joshua. It's the same promise and the woman that he gave the women at the tomb on Easter. It's the same promise he gave to his disciples when he left them. And it's the same promise and the confidence that he gives you too. The Lord is living and he is with you. Jesus was dead, but he rose from the dead. He's alive. And the fact that he is alive, it proves that he has forgiven you and me for every time that we lack faith, every time we don't act when we should, every time Every time that we don't have confidence, every time that we forget that He is the Lord, and He is almighty, and He is our refuge, and He is our strength, and that He has power over everything. Easter proves it. Jesus died to take away all that sin, and the fact that He rose from the dead and He's alive, it not only proves that He's with you, it proves that He doesn't hold any of our fear or our lack of faith against us. That's what it means that the Lord is alive. So, whether you say yes or no, whether you are aggressive or whether you are cautious, do it with confidence that the Lord is with you because He is alive. Now, I'm not saying act foolishly. I'm not saying forget about wisdom. Now, using wisdom, that's part of this equation, but that's another sermon. For today, I'm saying go and take risks. Be confident because the Lord is living and the Lord is with you. To be aggressive because the Lord lives and He's going to be with you no matter what. Now, do I know how that decision is going to turn out? Nope, not at all. I don't know. But I know that the Lord lives, and I know that He promised to be with you, and I know that because He rose from the dead, we can be sure that He is going to keep all of His promises, and so I know that no matter how it turns out, the Lord lives and the Lord is with you. So, ask that person out or not. Take the job or not. Move or not. The Lord lives. So whatever you decide, do it with confidence because the Lord lives. Let the fact that the Lord lives, let it move you to spend way too much time. Let it move you to risk spending way too much time reaching out to people with Jesus' love. Let it move you to risk talking to your friend who you know is anti-Christian, but they're your friend. Let it move you to risk talking to them about Jesus. I don't know. What's going to happen? Maybe they'll stop liking you. Maybe they'll stop being your friend. Or, I don't know, the Lord lives. Maybe they'll listen. Maybe they'll become an even better friend of yours, and maybe they'll be in heaven forever with you because you chose to take the risk, humanly speaking, and tell them about Jesus. The Lord lives. Let that move you to live with confidence in every single thing that you do. Let it move you to 9 days from now. Join me. And yes, I'm making this pledge right now. 9 days from now, Tuesday, November 3rd, election night. Let it move you to, go and vote. Do your privilege and your duty as a citizen, but then forget about it. Let the fact that the Lord lives move you to risk in a way. Not watching the news, not checking social media, having no clue how that election turns out. Wait until like 2:57 p.m. on Wednesday. Go to work the next day, and when it comes up, just shrug and say, oh, I have no idea what happened. And when people stare at you like, what in the world? Why would you not look this up? Why would you not watch the news? Just shrug and say, hey, whatever happens, the Lord lives. Let it move you to, as an act of faith in God, who is the ruler of all governments, let the fact that the Lord lives move you to not watch any election day coverage, not until the next afternoon. Because government matters. Politics, it matters. But the Lord lives. And the Lord lives, the Lord who lives, He's way more powerful and way better than any party, any leader, any person in any government anywhere. The Lord lives. So, whatever you do today, whatever decisions you make this week, whatever risks you take those risks with confidence. Not that you know how it's going to turn out, except that in a way you do. Because however it turns out, the Lord lives. And so He's with you. God bless you.